on. We'll see most of them play here tonight. Now we take a look at our starting lineups in this game between the Bruins and the Blazers. Starting lineup brought to you by Coke. And we talked about Alford, Isaac Hamilton. Norman Powell makes so many things happen. Kevon Looney is terrific, averaging a double-double on the season. And the big man inside is Tony Parker, who they count on with an average of 12 points a game. Steve Alford in that huddle right there, his second season as the Bruins head coach. And overall, his 24th year in college basketball as he is approaching his 500th career victory. And to take a look at the UAB Blazers, Robert Brown is their leading scorer among the starters. C.J. Washington is a threat from three-point range. Nick Norton leads them in assists. Hakeem Baxter did well last night against the pressure of Florida. That's the lineup for the Blazers. And there is Jared Haas, now in his third season as the UAB coach, the former Kansas player under Roy Williams, who stayed around as an assistant with him there and at North Carolina. Darren George, Keith Kimball, and Jeb Hartness, the officiating crew, as we get ready to begin this final game in this year's edition of the Battle for Atlantis. And Mahinty will jump it up against Looney.
It's been a great week of basketball with you guys. One more, let's bring it home.
And here we go. Powell gets the opening tap and spins his way in for the score. Norman Powell, the 6'4 senior from San Diego, averaging 18 on the season. And he puts the Bruins up.
Attacking the basket, that is his game. Drawing contact, getting to the free throw line. He's so strong when he gets in the paint.
Norton, a rare three, but it's there, a deep three for Nick Norton.
That's a young man that they think has got a lot of potential to really develop into an excellent player at UAB, Nick Norton.
And he is a coach's son.
Yeah, not really his strength to shoot it out there. He is deep.
Looney is fouled by Washington. Norton with the assignment of guarding Alford, two guys that are coach's son. Norton's dad, Randy, is the women's basketball coach at UAB.
Kevon Looney never really got on the flow last night against North Carolina. That was a big reason why UCLA struggled. Limited to foul trouble, only 23 minutes. Fourth leading rebounder in the country. UCLA needs him on the floor, active on the glass.
You see the number he has still put up. As Seth mentioned, sitting out all that time last night.
Steve Alford does not have much depth, so if he starts losing starters to foul trouble, UCLA's in a lot of trouble.
Takes an extra step, turnover, UAB. This is the third meeting between the programs. UCLA has won both, and this is the third straight game that Jared Haas's team has played a ranked opponent, playing Wisconsin and Florida before this game with the Bruins.
Well, he's going to learn a lot about his team from this competition. I think he learned a lot of positives last night.
Alford's first shot is short.
And the way they played against Florida.
Norton, another three off the mark. Powell grabs it for the Bruins. Nice pass, hanging, scoring is Isaac Hamilton, the 6'4 sophomore from Los Angeles.
Hamilton really struggled last night with turnovers. Good to see him get untracked early.
Washington's three off the mark.
UCLA loves to get up and down. They're ranked 19th in the country in tempo. And UAB happy to run right with them.
Powell stepped out of bounds as he was going down the left sideline there. You know, I like Hakeem Baxter. I like Brown. He showed us this tournament that he can score in double figures.
Right now, UCLA and man-to-man. You can see a lot of zone from UCLA tonight. So recent emphasis by Steve Alford as Parker hitting the deck.
And Parker coming up with the steal, and Alford brings it in front court. Mahenti knocks it out. Mahenti from Lithonia, Georgia, a sophomore, one of those 10 underclassmen that Jared Haas has told us about. These are his guys. The class that he has out there now are men that he has recruited to try to rejuvenate this program that was started literally from the ground up by Gene Bartow, the former UCLA coach 3 decades ago. Not there, Norton claims.
Well, Mahenti was born in Nigeria. He lived there until he was 16. There's an entry pass to him. Just starting to find his offensive game.
I think Mahenti can give Parker all he wants at both ends of the floor. He's got a good inch and a half on him. And he's a strong kid too, Tosin Mahenti. 6'9", 213. Tony Parker's got him by about 40 pounds, but Mahenti's very strong in the lower body.
Inbounds is stolen by Alford. Bryce running in front court with numbers. Leaves it over for Powell, and the 3 is off the mark, but the foul on the rebound.
So got Mahenti there with the foul call down low. There's the shot. You see the push by Mahenti.
Welsh in the game, hits the shot. Thomas Welsh, 7-foot freshman from Redondo Beach, California.
They like that young man. They think he's got some great potential.
And here's the steal. No one will catch Powell. And he misses the dunk. And a long rebound to midcourt for Looney.
He did that last night. Drinking too much Sprite.
Got some great elevation, but you're right. That is the second open court fast break dunk that he's missed in this tournament.
That'll be on Vine in about 3 minutes.
Outside, Hamilton hits the 3. UCLA up 8 quick. Hamilton, a sophomore out of Los Angeles. Well, here it is. Around, he's averaging 18 points, leads the team in steals, and also, unfortunately, leads the team in missed dunks now, his second in this tournament.
He's a high-energy guy.
Mahenti having problems holding on. Gives it inside to Tyler Madison in off the bench, knocked out of bounds by Looney. UCLA off to a good start. Bruins up 11-3 on UAB.
It can't be bound with ribbons or bows. It's always a surprise. And they'll hold on to it forever. This holiday, give them the experience of a lifetime. Give them the world of Atlantis.
Not far from where you are is exactly where you want to be. Nassau Paradise Island in the Bahamas. Visit NassauParadiseIsland.com now for amazing fall and winter room rates, plus other money-saving resort offers, but only for a limited time. Nassau Paradise Island, the perfect island getaway that's just a short flight away. It really is better in the Bahamas.
The 2014 Battle for Atlantis is being brought to you in part by the Paradise Island Tourism Development Association. Experience paradise in a whole new way.
And there you see the Bruins ranked 22nd coming into this tournament. And for Steve Alford, coming into this game, approaching 500 career wins, he is one of only a dozen coaches to take teams to the NCAA tournament. Well, here's Norman Powell yesterday against North Carolina. Beautiful steal. Oh, never mind. Here he is again. Beautiful steal. Oh, never mind.
You know, at both times, one of his teammates was able to get the ball on the missed dunk. It was Welsh yesterday.
And there you see he is guarding Robert Brown, who opened up with 16 against Wisconsin in this tournament. There's the bright spot in that opening round for UAB. Mahenti gets it inbound. Baseline, Washington. They need that shot from C.J. Washington, the 6'8 senior, one of the few upperclassmen on this team out of Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah, he showed yesterday that he can step back and hit that from 10 to 12 feet with some consistency.
Down low, Looney knocked away by Mahenti.
Nice hands by Mahenti.
3, Washington, no. Alford front court for UCLA. Powell for 3. And Nick Norton, the 5'10 freshman from Bloomington, Illinois, wants to slow it down. That's more the UAB tempo here. The lob inside Mahenti, no good. Welsh snatches it off for the Bruins.
Did everything well but the finish there. Nice entry pass. Just didn't fall.
We take one more look at this one. Mahenti inside.
Just so close. Everything went well but the finish.
UCLA had switched, so Norman Powell is guarding Mahente. Good recognition on the mismatch.
Looney comes around, nice spin move. Can't get the shot to go, but he'll be shooting too.
UCLA running that weave offense, waiting for the mismatch. Devon Looney taking advantage. You see him taking the dribble handoff. He's got C.J. Washington on his back. Just nice. A real good-looking freshman, a real coveted player.
6'9 freshman from Milwaukee.
Had himself a terrific start to his college career. Not much by way of a shooter, not much by way of a foul shooter, but recognizes his strength, stays in his lane, and he is a dynamic rebounder.
Averaging double-doubles on the season. Started off with 4 straight double-double games. As Chris Coakley, number 3, has come into the lineup for UAB, their leading rebounder on the season. Interesting stat on UAB, their leading rebounder, Coakley, their leading scorer, Madison, and they both come off the bench.
That is an incredible stat. When's the last time you saw that? Leading rebounder, leading scorer coming off the bench for a team.
Madison down the lane, no. Welsh clears it out. Alford running the other way.
Tell you what, Thomas Welsh giving Steve Alford some nice minutes.
Shot 3, good. Isaac Hamilton.
Where's that been, young freshman? 0 for 6 last night against North Carolina. He's already got 2 tonight. Good for you.
He has 8 in the game. Half the Bruins' points. Brown with a look at a 3. Not there. Tip won't go by Coakley. Here comes Powell. Hanging, scooping. And out of bounds to UAB.
Alford's got a little bit of depth in his front court. It's in his back court, the perimeter, where he really has nobody off the bench. They had a graduate transfer ready to come into the program, John Octius from Colorado State, who's now at Purdue. UCLA did not admit him into school. If anyone talked about the need to stress academics, UCLA's stressing of academics cost them a very experienced point guard.
Gigi Goleman, a 6'10 freshman, in the lineup now for UCLA, as well as Powell goes to the bench.
I like this guard combo, this tandem here of Watts and Akeem Baxter. Got some great minutes last night from him. Very athletic.
Coakley gets the rebound, foul inside.
Talked to Coach Haas yesterday after the games about this combo, and he was pleased with them as well.
Tyler Madison bounced to Coakley, up and through. Chris Coakley, the 6'8 freshman from Savannah, Georgia, averaging 7 and leads the team with 5.5 rebounds.
Jared Haas is really excited about Coakley. Waiting for him to figure it out, but you can see why he likes it.
Welsh looking around. He was wide open, and he takes it in for the jam.
Hakeem Baxter was the only one in the area, and he just wisely backed off. He realized he wasn't going to stop the 7-footer from putting down the two-handed jam.
He said, Mr. Welsh, there's a rim right there, sir. You should have no trouble finding it. Let me just get out of your way. That's exactly what I would do.
3, not there for Baxter.
Welsh doing a nice job on the defensive glass as well.
Straight away, Isaac Hamilton. He is hot. Man. 11 for Hamilton. 21-7 Bruins.
Well, he's got that ability to really get a lot of buckets in a short period of time. Coach Alford stayed with him last night, even though he was struggling, and you can see why.
Here's that 2-3 zone now for UCLA. Last year was the first time Alford really played zone extensively.
Three will not go for Madison. 3-pointers, UCLA's hitting them. Particularly Isaac Hamilton. Bruins are leading. Looney guarded by Lewis Sullivan.
UAB very Florida-esque in its three-point shooting here tonight. 1 for 7 from behind the arc. No free throws.
Florida started cold against North Carolina, 1 for 15 in the first half of their game, but they got hot in the second half. Made it close down the stretch with Carolina.
Yeah, when the team's
not give up.
Yeah, when a team can't make threes, you zone them. Pretty basic.
Coakley's off with the shot. Looney's there with another rebound. He'll probably have 10 or more of those before the night's over. That's his second.
Coach Haas is going to get Brown back in the game. He needs another scorer on the court for UAB.
What can Brown do for him?
Alford is fouled by Denzel Watts, sophomore from Flint, Michigan. Another one of those Haas recruits.
Thank you for not commenting on that. Really
I started.
They're not officially a sponsor.
It's so far past my bedtime. I don't know what we're going to get here. Hope we get a better game. UAB's got to find some points.
Powell driving in on Brown all the way in. Maybe getting a piece of it looked like was Coakley, and Powell gets it right back in a fresh 35 for UCLA.
So yesterday UCLA got a team in North Carolina that was still angry from playing poorly the day before. UAB's got that right now with UCLA. Those kids flat out quit last night. And they've been hearing it from their coach.
Alford pulls up off the mark uncharacteristically, missing that kind of shot. And here comes Brown. Launching a three is Sullivan, but there to put it back in is Chris Coakley, the 6'8" freshman.
That's an assist
from Savannah, Georgia.
Counts as an assist, Kenny. Be generous. It's Thanksgiving.
Tonight we will.
That's like banking it in and not call it glass.
Washington picking up that foul. Another look at this.
He was going for the shot, but Coakley did a nice job of bailing him out. Coming in.
And the Wolfpack win the championship.
Yeah, Derek Whittington.
Powell steps back. Foul call. It's on Brown. Powell goes to the line, where he hits right about 68% on the season.
UAB is just late on everything defensively. Late on their switches, late on their closeouts.
And 2 fouls on Brown now with 9:55 to go here in the first.
Yeah, 17 fouls for UAB, guys. Only 2 for UCLA.
Well, they're giving up a lot of size, obviously, inside when you've got Looney, Goleman, Welsh. Got some big bodies.
that one of the Dolphins?
And in spite of the taunts from the UAB fan,
that was a Dolphin.
He hit them both. That was pretty impressive. That kid has a set of lungs.
There's a little soft 2-2-1 zone press, falling back into the 2-3. I speak Dolphin now. I don't know if you saw the Dolphins feature, guys, but
actually I did. It evoked memories of Brian Keith. Inside shot won't go for Washington.
Boy, Washington's frustrated. He had a couple of nice looks inside, but he stayed with it, kept battling, and he finally gets fouled on his third attempted putback. The nice entry pass on the low blocks. He was able to establish position, just couldn't finish, but his hard work pays off. C.J. Washington played a nice game last night against the Florida Gators as well.
Wanda Bale comes in the lineup for UCLA.
As I said, Steve Alford does have a couple of bodies he can throw in there on the front court. The perimeter is a different story. Depth is going to be a major issue for UCLA this season.
Powell for three is short. And Parker keeps it alive. Hamilton is yet to miss until now.
Never under your own basket.
Oh, right into the hands of Brown. Puts it in after getting the feed from Hamilton.
Nice play by Isaac Hamilton. He never saved the ball under the other team's basket. It's basketball 101. Hamilton with a nice delivery. Playing with great confidence tonight. Very different from 24 hours ago.
Norton, another three. Yes, he's hit a couple of those.
That one was deep.
To the moon. Bale inside, nice little left-hander.
Coakley got over a little late on that one. It was a nice little left-hander.
Follow up Coakley.
UAB doing a much better job driving the basketball, not settling for those threes. That was a good rotation, offensive rebound.
Powell drawing the foul. UCLA leading Steve Alford's club up 27-16. Compliments to Jared Haas and his staff and all the players for getting involved.
Yeah, I think that's just such a wonderful story. What a wonderful gesture by this program, UAB. Very classy.
And it's part of the culture in college basketball right now with coaches and Coaches versus Cancer and the Jimmy V Foundation. One weekend a year where the coaches all wear sneakers with their suits. So thank you, Jared Haas, for bringing that to our attention.
And you can go to the UAB website, their athletic website, to find out more if you're interested in helping out in the Pediatric Cancer Center. Tip-in is there for Washington. 11-point lead for UCLA.
Yeah, that was a nice drive to the basket by Sullivan.
UAB showing some zone now. Nice skip pass.
Not there. Gets it right back.
Wanda Bale fighting inside. Keeping it alive.
Powell. Bale couldn't hang on, but chases it down. Good hustle. The scrum breaks out, clearing it out. Washington in a race with Parker, and he is fouled hard as he goes to the basket.
Boy, what great hustle and determination right here in front of us to start that break. Look at this 50-50 ball, bodies all over the floor. And then Sullivan gets it out. Great hustle by both teams.
Tell you what, Tony Parker very close to getting a flagrant foul. In that situation where a player has a breakaway, Got to be very careful.
C.J. Washington, an all-conference USA preseason selection.
Coach Alford bringing in some big bodies again. Looney and Welsh both coming in.
Along with Bryce Alford at guard.
You know, after the slow start that UAB had, and it was extremely slow, you put this one down, you're within 9. Clawed your way back into this one.
You're right, Tom. UAB has officially staunched the bleeding. More patience on offense, taking better care of the basketball.
Alford guarded by Norton, and he commits the foul.
Every time.
Yep, had his hand out there, Seth. You're right. Just keep that hand back. You can't hand check him. It was light, it was soft, but it was enough for the foul.
And that's something that college basketball is re-emphasizing. A lot of people last year called that a rule change. It was not a rule change. It was simply a recognition that that rule had not been officiated properly. And that's something that the NBA has done over the last decade, is really clamping down on hand checking, which is why the NBA game is much more open and free-flowing type of basketball. We'd love to see college basketball look more like that style.
Alford hitting a couple. Did that stroke remind you of another great free throw shooter about 1987 or so at Indiana?
Of course, Steve Alford had one of the great pre-shot routines for his free throws. As we see yet another scrub on the floor. Tom Walsh likes it when the guys get after it. But
I do like that.
Steve Alford, when he was in Indiana, he used to reach down and touch his socks, wipe his hands on his socks, wipe his hands on his shorts, dribble 3 times, shoot the free throw.
I think the first guy I ever saw use that sock routine. Remember the great Kyle Macy back in Kentucky? He always put his hands on the socks.
Another Indiana boy.
Right. An incredible free throw shooter as well. Oh, great backdoor cut.
Backdoor wide open it was at the moment, and Robert Brown puts it through. Good feed, and UAB capitalizes.
Norman Powell caught sleeping, turned his head, lost his opponent.
Welsh baseline. Welsh has looked good in this tournament, the 7-foot freshman. Stole away by Alford. Nice pass to Powell, and it's rejected. Washington up there for the block. Here comes Brown.
What a rejection.
Brown for 3. Battling in there, pulling it out. Mahente goes out of bounds, stays with UAB. UAB winning the Hustle Award at the moment.
C.J. Washington. Return to sender. All leather. Extension, timing, perfect.
You can't do any better than that.
And Powell, like the free safety with the interception, and he takes it in for the score.
He lays it in for the score. Didn't try to dunk that one. Nice play. Just like that, it's 13 again.
Brown off the mark. Mahente going in there. Welsh going after it as well, and he's fouled.
Mahente battling inside. Had a shot at it, but Welsh got the control, and then he committed the foul. But you're right. Welsh has been very...
And bad for UAB. That is the 3rd foul on Mahente with 5:18 to go here in the first half.
That's not going to make it any easier to guard Welsh. And the fact that they're doing this with Tony Parker sitting on the bench with 2 fouls.
Mahente will go out. Brown will go out. Baxter comes back in the lineup.
How about that? Neither team has missed a free throw tonight.
And Coakley.
In fact, I predict that these 2 teams will go the rest of the night without missing a free throw. Unjinxable. Unjinxable. I tried to jinx him.
Keeping in mind, you also predicted that McGovern victory.
Missed it by that much. Happy feet. That's been a problem for UAB tonight, is those turnovers. That's number 8. Down 15 again. They fight their way back and then they shoot themselves in the foot.
Had this lead down to 9 on a couple of occasions. Back up to 15. Playing some Hawken defense, though.
Nice hustle by Baxter. Off UCLA to the Blazers.
Isaac Hamilton forcing the action there. Kind of hard to get from about 24 feet all the way to the rim. When he gets a feel for the game, he'll learn how to stop and then find somebody. Not put his head down. But I like his aggressiveness.
Just a little too strong on that one from the baseline was Washington. He's had one of the best blocks in this tournament just a few moments ago. Hamilton baseline is there.
Oh, that was a sweet move by Isaac Hamilton.
He's 5 out of 7 from the field, has 13.
Quick shake to the right, dribbled left, and then just drained it. Pretty stroke.
Shot clock is at 9. Baxter with it. It's at 5. At 3, Watts has to take it. Welsh with the rebound.
Like these minutes Thomas Welsh is giving him. Give him the ball.
Welsh, nice pass to Looney. Scores, and he's fouled.
I'm not sure he wasn't trying to throw a cross court to Alford.
Let's work under the assumption that that was a great assist. I think he was trying to throw it cross court.
I'll tell you what, it was a heck of a catch from Kevon Looney.
They just walked down some beautiful halls. Just a wonderful facility. I think teams are going to line up to come to Atlantis to play in this tournament for years.
They're coming next year. Some good ones all around the country as Looney puts that through, and UCLA opens up its biggest at 20. Looney with 7.
Critical 3 minutes here for UAB just to try to chip away at this lead and keep it under 20. UCLA is really starting to show some dominance.
Norton thought about a 3. In the lineup, Jarvis Calhoun will take the 3. And Coakley pushes off on the rebound.
And right now, Seth, everything for UAB's at the perimeter. There's just nothing inside. Tosin Mahente's on the bench. They're just throwing the ball around the perimeter. They just cannot get it inside on these big bodies from UCLA.
That zone is working real well for UCLA, too, also. Unfortunately, you got to be able to make perimeter jump shots to win most basketball games. The Florida Gators can tell you that.
First free throw missed.
There you go. I thought we'd never see it again. He's definitely making this one, though.
Well, the jinx lives.
You know, I could have sworn the remake of Ironside was going to last more than a season.
Wow, that's 3 from deep.
Norton to the moon again. He's had 3 threes.
And that one was about 2.5, 3 feet behind the arc. He's feeling it, that young man. He plays some great defense on Alford. Forces the air ball.
Norton again. Norton with a career-high 4 made 3-pointers.
Look at the emotion by Norton after he knocks that one down. Those are 2 big threes.
Knocked away inside. Lewis Sullivan comes out with it. Watts. Calhoun takes it in. Welsh swats it away. Norton hustling for it, along with Powell, and the foul's going on UCLA.
Those are deep threes.
Nick Norton. He started when this team toured Spain over the summer, was very impressive.
Look how far
and the
behind
man that leads the team in assists can also hit the three we've seen.
How far behind the arc he is. I mean, he's good 6-7 feet back there.
They got him listed at 5'10", which I think is generous. But he's a gamer. Plays hard.
That's one way to get back into a game.
Alford fouled. He'll go to the line.
Nice job by Bryce Alford getting to the foul line. Ian Hamilton, I think, have forgotten that the last couple of nights, but doing a much better job tonight.
Alford, a 6'3" sophomore. Grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico when his dad was coaching at the University of New Mexico. Had 19 against Oklahoma in the opener.
Now 14 for 16 from the night. After going 21 for 33 in the loss to Carolina.
Norton, terrific first half. Heads to Coakley.
Now they've got Kevon Looney out there chasing him. That's a high compliment to Nick Norton. They want to sick Looney on you out there. You don't want to try to shoot over him.
Shot clock is down to 5. Someone has to put it up. Sullivan gives it inside. Back door is open for Tyler Madison. A nice assist by Lewis Sullivan. Presence of mind for that. And before the clock hits 0, UAB puts points on the board.
You can see he's got Bryce Alford on him because Looney had switched out on Norton. So Sullivan taking advantage of that height mismatch. That's excellent recognition by UAB.
Here's UAB yesterday going to practice. If it looks like a ballroom, like you're walking down the hall of a convention center area, that's because you are. There's the practice facility adjacent here to the ballroom that is used for the arena. And the Blazers were working out there yesterday. We'll have more on that later on with Coach Jared Haas and his team here. Fighting back. UCLA leading by 20. They cut the lead down to 14 on some great shooting by Nick Norton.
And really outside of Isaac Hamilton for UCLA, the Bruins not really shooting the ball. They've got a little bit from Tom Welsh inside, but the backcourt of Alford and Powell not really giving them a whole lot.
Alford gives to Hamilton, and Hamilton hits again. Isaac Hamilton having a terrific night, 16 points already in this game, and he's 4 out of 5 from three-point range.
Steve Alford going with the hot hand out of the timeout. Good recognition by the coach.
Sullivan, a 3 that's there. Lewis Sullivan came into this tournament with 2 made three-pointers. The freshman out of Hazel Green, Alabama, nails that one as we have a foul call. That's on Norton, and that's his second. With 3.3 to go here in the first half. And Alford, almost automatic, goes to the free throw line. 5 for 5 now on the night. Norton did not get the shot off before the buzzer. So at the end of the first half, Norton with a career effort here in the first half for UAB, but it's the Bruins.
Not happy.
As we start the second half, it'll be Hamilton, Alford, Welsh. No, not Welsh. It'll be Parker and Looney and Powell out there for UCLA.
Now, UCLA is ranked 254th in the country in foul shooting at 64% tonight. 17 for 19.
Tyler Madison swats it away for UAB. Madison starting this second half along with Brown and Norton. And Mahente is out there along with Washington. Alford hits his first three. Alford with 9. Norton had a thought. Gets the screen, pulls up from 16 and hits it. Well, we're seeing a breakout shooting performance from the 5'10 freshman.
Jared Haas just wants his guys to compete. He's going to find guys who are going to give him effort.
Looney, floater won't go. Follow up, not there by Parker. And in the battle out of bounds, last touched by the Blazers.
I mean, understand what Jared is saying, but I mean, the reality is you got Tony Parker and Kevon Looney working the glass. They're just bigger than his guys. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're more explosive. And in Parker's case, they're a lot more experienced.
10 underclassmen on this UAB team. There's one of them, Tyler Madison, the sophomore from Columbiana, Alabama, picking up the foul.
Well, Steve Alford had the same problem last night. His team against North Carolina, about midway through the second half, realized they had no chance to win, so they basically stopped playing hard. And they got embarrassed. Wants to see his team fight back.
And Hamilton picking up where he started this game, a season-high 18 points now. He had 16 against Coastal Carolina on November 16th.
And you could see the way that Coach Alford's eyes just lit up when I asked him at the break there about Isaac Hamilton. He is effusive with his praise. He's a terrific player. They want to get him the confidence to do what he can do. They see it in practice, and he's obviously come out firing tonight.
C.J. Washington drawing the foul, and will go to the line. And Welsh comes in, and Parker goes out for the Bruins.
Two key guys had foul trouble in the first half. Mahente and Brown for UAB, both back on the court.
Parker picking up his third, but the way Thomas Welsh has played, frankly, I'm not sure UCLA isn't hard to guard with the 7-footer in there.
Welsh no good.
Rushed that one.
Out of bounds off the Blazers. Mahente is playing with 3 fouls for UAB. They don't have a whole lot of options inside, so their big man stays in early in the game. Now he goes out. Coming in is Chris Coakley, another freshman for these Blazers. Looney. And underneath, Norton is on the floor.
Looks like he's holding his head.
Jared Haas comes out.
Like 3 ranked teams in this tournament. That's pretty tough, tall order, and they gave a heck of a game last night to Florida.
It's the good news, bad news. Good news, you got to go to Atlantis and play in a tournament. Bad news, you got to face Wisconsin, Florida, and UCLA on consecutive nights.
Conference USA is the official host of the Battle for Atlantis, so that league has one of these 8 slots locked in every year.
Charlotte will be here next year representing Conference USA.
Last year UTEP was here. UTEP got a big win over Xavier today. Tim Floyd's crew.
Nice pass, finishing it off, C.J. Washington. Acknowledging that assist.
A lot of energy on the defensive end by the Blazers right now. A lot of people moving their feet, getting in position.
Looney.
That's a charge. Ooh.
Takes it in.
I thought that was a charge.
And a block is called.
Seth, I did as well from over here.
Tyler Madison trying to step in.
Speaking of Conference USA, on the gridiron today, they had a setback when Marshall's undefeated season came to an end at home. Western Kentucky winning in a shootout in overtime. So the hopes of Marshall getting a chance to play in a major bowl, which means major money for the conference, going by the wayside today with that loss.
I think that was 15 touchdown passes between the two teams. Western Kentucky went for it with a 2-point conversion in the first overtime to win it.
Washington off the mark. Battle for it. Put in by Madison.
Well, there's that hard-nosed physicality that we had come to expect from Madison. He's really struggled offensively in the tournament. He came in as the leading scorer of the team. But nice to see him go up and get that one.
Alford getting it down low. Bounce to Hamilton. Stolen away inside by Washington. Ahead to Coakley. Has trouble. Hangs with it. Tipped in.
Madison.
What a hustle follow-up by Tyler Madison. One would have to believe that Jared Haas is pleased with his team's effort right now. They've cut it down to 13.
Steve Alford very displeased. UCLA's half-court offense has been very, very sloppy these last few minutes.
Alford's shot is off. Here come the Blazers.
Can get that anytime they want.
Watts blocked by Looney.
Now they got numbers.
Alford running. Takes it in. Hangs. Shot won't go, but he draws the foul from Madison.
Yeah, Madison was vertical with his hands, but he got him with the body. Good call by the official. Madison doesn't like the call, but it was the right call. Here we go. Look, there's the bump.
Part of UCLA developing their offensive identity is knowing where to go and what to do in important situations. There's no real definitive go-to guy right now. Some ways that can work for you, some ways that can work against you. You got to discover that. That's the purpose of these early games. Figure out who they are.
Tyler Madison picks up his fourth.
And look at that. Alford missed a free throw, the outstanding free throw shooter.
Alford with 10. Two Bruins in double figures. Hamilton with 18 to lead them. Straightaway Brown. 3 is short. Looney clears it out.
Boy, he is a rebounder, isn't he? He just goes up and brings that ball down in the crowd.
Hamilton again a 3.
Wow. Didn't even really have it in his hands. Juggled it a little bit. A little off balance. That's when you know things are going well for you.
21 for Isaac Hamilton.
It's a walk.
And a turnover on the Blazers. UCLA regrouping, led by Isaac Hamilton. 3 of his 21. UCLA by 17. From scratch, the UAB program. If you look at Isaac Hamilton, who had 21 points, and Coach Bartow came in as coach and athletic director and led the Blazers within their first 3 years to an Elite 8. As Looney misses inside, and if you go to UAB, there's the Gene Bartow Center, as rightfully so, and many things named, and his son Murray came along as the follow-up coach after that. And you know, imagine you talk about building programs, rejuvenating and all that, and rejuvenating certainly is what Jared Haas is trying to do. But think of it in this day and age, to go in and leave UCLA, to say, I'm going to take this program then known as Alabama Birmingham and build them for the ground up like he did and got him to a Sweet 16, an NIT, a Sweet 16, and Elite 8 in the first 3 seasons of basketball.
Well, Gene Bartow was one of the great gentlemen who's ever coached college basketball. They called him Clean Gene. And obviously the single most difficult job you could have is following John Wooden at UCLA. He only lasted 2 years because the pressure and the expectations were so high, and he was so thin-skinned, he'd never been criticized before. So he went from what they call the athletes of college athletics in UCLA, as Thomas Welsh committing the foul, went to the greatest basketball program in history to a place that didn't even have a basketball program. That's how far away he wanted to get from having outsized expectations.
And this after he won at UCLA.
He won big at UCLA.
He just didn't win championships right off.
He just wasn't John Wooden, and of course nobody's John Wooden. And And the program in large measure has suffered in a lot of ways because of that. Jim Herrick, of course, was able to win a championship in 1995, but Ben Howland went to 3 Final Fours, Kenny, and you don't find any of those banners hanging in Pauley Pavilion because they only hang banners for a national championship. So you want to talk about high expectations. They don't get any higher than what you find at UCLA. Gene Bartow was a good man, and I feel honored to have the chance to have met him before he passed.
Quite the gentleman. I met him long ago when he was on that streak. UAB back in the day, beating Kentucky and some very good teams early on, and
his son,
quickly establishing
his
himself.
son Murray later coached at UAB as well.
Oh, follow-up dunk is there by Chris Coakley, who's having to play a bigger role even now with Mahinty out with 4 personal fouls. Baxter in front court. Down low, Welsh blocks it, foul call. Take another look, and look at the follow. Perfectly timed by Coakley.
May have been a little offensive interference, but when you're down 19, give you the benefit of the doubt. It's Thanksgiving, Kenny. You got to get into the spirit.
Especially as it gets close to midnight. Good news for Blazer fans. Nick Norton, there you see, patched up. Got the bleeding stop, covered up the cut over his left eye that he caught from a teammate with an elbow, and he's back in the lineup.
Is this kid a gamer or what?
Oh, yes. That is so great to see him out there.
Coakley puts it through. He has 10.
UAB just kind of keeping the hang around a little bit. It's a 17-point lead, but these young men are still competing out there.
Foul away from the ball, as called by Darren George.
They're going to get Juan a bail on that.
Yeah. Darren working this game, and congratulations his son's team. We talked about him last night. They won the state championship in Texas today. Allen has won.
I'll tell you what, that is a football powerhouse in the Lone Star State.
So the George family, Darren's coming home tomorrow, and the celebration can continue throughout all of Allen, Texas. Is that right, Allen? Allen County.
Allen, Texas.
Allen, Texas. All over Allen, Texas. Rebound brought out by Parker. Alford gives ahead. Bale inside, no good. Foul as Parker tried to follow.
UCLA just crashing the boards there. Blue jerseys everywhere.
Remember Darren also, as we take another look at this here. And Parker shoots. Remember Darren George, in the first UAB game against Wisconsin, when the UAB players was going out, he had his hand up with his palm open because he was signaling time to hold up play. And he got a high five from the players. He was going to the bench. Told us yesterday he had never gotten a high five before in a game from a player, ever.
That was one of the great moments of this tournament.
And he handled it well. It was a fun moment. As you see Madison coming back in, even though he has 4 fouls, or 3 fouls rather, on Madison. He's coming back in. Alford not there. Tipped by Looney, no good. Bale to Looney. Like volleyball assist.
Just too many big bodies in there, just dominating the glass.
So Mahinty on the bench with 4, and Madison has 4. Has the ball briefly. Norton with it. 3 is short by Madison. Looney taking it all the way in, knocked away by Brown. Have a timeout on the floor. Yet another freshman, a 6-footer from Trussville, Alabama, comes in, replacing Lewis Sullivan, a freshman from Hazel Green, Alabama. Lots of freshmen and sophomores on this UAB team.
A lot of freshmen and sophomores that are getting valuable experience against some great college programs.
Bale inside, draws the foul. Juana Bale, the 6'9 sophomore, will be going to the line.
Bale and Welsh getting some valuable minutes tonight up front. Is like a pretty clean block there.
And that's the 4th personal foul on C.J. Washington, so he now joins Tyler Madison, Tosin Mahenti with 4 fouls.
I mean, obviously the competition that UCLA is facing tonight is not comparable necessarily to what it's going to see in conference play, but this is exactly what they needed. They've had a rough couple of days here. Handled pretty well by Oklahoma, and then really run out of this gym last night by North Carolina. Just
another 3. Got knocked down, got bandaged up, and comes back in and hits a 3. Career night for Nick Norton, and still a very young career, only his 6th collegiate game. A lot of promise for this freshman who leads the team in assists, and tonight leads them in scoring with 17.
And he was bleeding profusely from his face about 15 minutes ago. Gracious.
Hamilton misses, Bale chasing along with Brown. It goes off the Blazer. And here again, it's the depth on these shots. It's NBA range.
Can't fault the defense. Junior's just feeling it.
Did you see Bale? I mean, he went over the table and about 3 feet into the aisle. That was great hustle, 18-point lead, and great hustle there to go try to keep that ball alive and keep it in UCLA's possession.
That's what they want to see, playing hard. The game's in control, but still going. Alford with the 3. Rebound, Bale snatches it, reverse not there. Looney tries to follow, whistle foul inside.
UCLA just now overwhelming UAB on the glass. There's not much they can do about it at this point, unfortunately. UAB's done pretty well for most of the night to hang with UCLA, but once you get Bale and Looney and Parker, those are 3
and how about
long-armed athletes there. Well, I'm saying there's the 3 that are out there right now.
Yeah.
And Mahenti comes in. Set out a large portion of this half with those 4 personal fouls as Brown goes out. And Bale, the sophomore, can't get it to go. Parker battling for it, keeps it alive for UCLA. Parker over to Allen. No Allen, a little short with that. It's brought out of there by Calhoun. Here's Norton, lob for Coakley, who finishes it off. Great assist.
How about Nick Norton? Great lob pass to hit his running player on the left side, but Norton's really been amazing tonight.
A dozen for Coakley. Bale looks under to Parker now, double team.
I think that may be Mahenti's 5th. He reached over and made some contact with the head, and he's gone.
That is the 5th.
Well, the drinks are up there, Kenny.
And we thank them for doing just a spectacular job. They do the heavy lifting.
Thank you, guys, seriously, for all your work this week. Just outstanding.
Absolutely.
You make us look not awful. That is not easy to do.
Straight away, shot not there.
Brown had a good look. Top of the key.
Inside, basket by Tony Parker, the 6'9 junior from Atlanta.
Yeah, Brown was no match inside for Parker. That's a mismatch.
Foul is going against the Bruins. You see all these great replays that we've had throughout, from Josh Harper III, Matt Mills, Jason Boyer, Scott Snyder. Great to have them with us. Welsh comes back in. And in the small world that TV is, like Gary Morrow and I, we've done horse racing this year, MMA, boxing, and basketball now. Josh does all of our fight shows on Access TV, on those replays. Powell hangs, gets the basket. Norman Powell, he now has 10. Right back three won't go. Snatched off there by Gigi Goleman. Again, shot won't go for Powell. Hustle. Allen still alive. Norton going for it, and Hamilton, he scores, he hustles. Wow. He saves the day there. He has 21 points and gets a little bit of probably a floor burn with that great effort.
You know what, though? That's the young man who gets it. You're up 19, and you're diving for a loose ball like that. Don't think for a second Steve Alford doesn't notice that as much as he notices the way that he's been shooting tonight. That's great winning basketball by Isaac Hamilton.
Brown, not there. Charging out with it. Noah Allen. Nice pass, good assist, finishing it off, Norman Powell. That was impressive. Sophomore could be looking to get a point on the board. No, he gets an assist instead.
Go ahead and sharp UCLA. 9.5 to go.
You think?
Nobody ever called me the bravest guy. I'm very cautious with my Sharpie, Kenny.
I know
it's
that.
very powerful.
It's a powerful
Respect the Sharpie, my God.
It's like got its own, like it's got its own Twitter site or something. I think.
Actually, does. I think there is a.
There's Brown to Calhoun, rims out. Good hustle inside by Coakley, standing on the line though. What about the effort here in the second half? That's what Jared Hass was talking about. Norton's going, and eventually it was Isaac Hamilton that saved it.
I mean, Hamilton came from way behind Norton on that play. Reminds me of that loose ball dive that Patrick Young from Florida got last year against Tennessee. We got to finish that. Go up with authority and with confidence. Just talking to Tracy Murray, the radio guy, of course, the great shooter at UCLA, played in the NBA for many years, the Washington Wizards, among other teams. And I said, hey, Thomas Welsh really playing well. He said he needs confidence.
Baxter.
Of course, he has Tracy Murray. He still hadn't never missed an outside shot. He had a lot of confidence, with reason.
Well, look, let's face it, the UCLA Bruins just have a lot more talent right now than do the Blazers from UAB.
You think?
Well, let's keep in mind now, UAB led Florida by a point with 4 minutes to go last night. Florida ended the game with a 10-0 run, most of it on the foul line. So UAB, at the very least, held its own with Florida. Of course, Florida's not looking exactly like a juggernaut right now. But it doesn't matter who it's against. UCLA needed a bounce-back performance, and they got what they needed tonight.
Powell, the three is there for Norman Powell as he rips that one through for his 15th. Tom, I was going to ask you in seriousness now about Jared Hass. Talked about the effort. What do you think about the second half effort? That's what he really wanted to see, knowing his team's a big underdog here.
Yeah, I think the effort has been there. Guys diving on the floor, guys working hard underneath. You had Mahenti, who was on the bench with 4 fouls. Tyler Madison, who's one of your most hard-nosed players, was out battling. He had the 4 fouls. It was just a tough matchup against UCLA. But I think when he looks at the tape, the effort has been there. The results may not be what he liked, but the effort will be there.
Blazers with full court pressure. Alford running it to Welsh, knocked away out of bounds. More good hustle by the Blazers. It's UCLA, though, in control, 77-57. If you can hear us, you can blame Doug. It's his fault. Roberto Rios, our technical director, and, you know, Benito, if you can hear us, and you can also blame Benito. So, great job, guys. All of our guys who work in audio, all of our technicians, has made it possible, and it's been long days for them. Here's a steal. Baxter on the run out. Powell the other way, the lob for Welsh.
And with that, we go to running time.
Getting close, aren't we?
Craps tables are beckoning, Kenny.
Not as long as C.J. Washington's hitting threes. He has 15.
Hey, if they got to come back in, I'm game for that. I don't think UCLA's going to let it happen. Dick Norton's going to scrap his way till the last dog dies.
Alford drawing the foul, going to the line.
Well, that was going to be a difficult shot for Alford. Kind of got bailed out with the foul. We'll take a look at it here. Down the lane, kind of tried to scoop it up. Didn't see a whole lot of contact there.
As Bryce with 11 on the night. As it flies, it hits it. And it's a 21-point lead again. Long three, not there. Good hustle, rebound. Back in by Lewis Sullivan, a freshman. Freshmen and sophomores. A couple of veteran players on this team, but one of the youngest teams in the U.S. And their third straight ranked opponent, and they keep playing hard. Washington. Nice little drop step, comes up short. Alford brings it in front court.
Oh, nice.
Ahead to Washington.
That was a
beautiful
nice
pass.
Oh, my.
What an assist. That was just nice, wasn't it?
Actually, I think Bryce Alford should get that assist. Throwing that careless one-handed pass.
Yeah, I think.
And Kyle Ewalt, who has done yet another superior job. Look at there. There is Jason. Kyle, if you'd moved over like 2 feet, you could have gotten in the shot. Kyle Ewalt, our outstanding stage manager.
Yeah, both of them have done a great job. This whole crew, as you said, Eddie, they have been just outstanding.
Inside Looney, no. Tip will not go, but staying right with it. Parker cannot get it, but a foul is called. Try not to forget anybody's name. I think I said Matt Luseka earlier. If not, I did then. So I think we got everyone. The mic goes off and it gets dark in here, then I forgot a name. You'll know. But it's a crew that comes in and puts in long, long hours and covers all 4 games each day. So we talk about 12 games in 3 days with 8 teams. They know them all. They see them all.
inside-out action.
The UAB's cut this to 15. Still competing hard. Isaac Hamilton. He was pretty special tonight for the Bruins.
Foul. Tyler Madison continues to battle away. He came into this tournament as the leading scorer on the team, even though he comes off the bench averaging 12.5 points a game. And he steps up there now with 2. Has 6 points on the night. First trip to the free throw line.
He's from Shelby County, Alabama. That's a suburb there in the Birmingham area. A local kid. They like him a lot. They like his tenacity.
As you look there at Chris Coakley, another of those young guys on this team, played hard tonight. Parker gets the rebound, knocked away, put up and through by Sullivan. We've seen him make a great pass, and we see him put this through, and UAB's within a dozen and a chance to cut into that even more. UCLA is led by as many as 22 in this game. Now the lead trimmed down to a dozen, and here's a steal by Sullivan. He's having a great second half.
He really is.
And a timeout by UAB.
Another careless turnover by Bryce Alford. Just late on the delivery, making a long pass from behind the three-point line. Trying to find...
sounds all around the area, as well as doing our interviews with our coaches, our camera crew, Jim Van Vranken and Kevin Sanchez. (13-3) UAB run. Possibly a chance to get it to single digits if Norton hits this. Just off the mark. Battling for it. On the floor, tied up, and the arrow is pointing to UAB.
I think they got a timeout. Yeah, I think they got a timeout.
Did they get the timeout before? The arrow is still then going to be pointing to UAB.
That's why I don't like live ball timeouts in basketball. I wish they would go to the international rules that you can only call a timeout when there's a stoppage in play. To me, it's like a quarterback going back to pass. He's about to get sacked, and he can call timeout. And I also don't like coaches being able to call timeout. I see completion of the play, but certainly good effort by UAB to gather the ball and call timeout.
Here's next year's tournament field: Gonzaga, Michigan, Syracuse, Texas A&M, North Carolina, Charlotte, Connecticut, Texas, and Washington. And I think Seth, Tom, and I will stay right here until next year.
Yeah.
For the next year, we will be here.
We need to be prepared for that one. You know, Texas A&M, 2 longtime rivals, used to play on football on Thanksgiving Day, and of course now they're in separate conferences. It'll be interesting to see them in the same tournament down here in basketball.
Pressure by UAB. Powell has it knocked away by Norton, comes up with the steal. Norton racing with the numbers. Shot is up and good. Norton the assist. Sullivan finishes it off. Hold on, folks. UAB is within 10.
What great body control by Sullivan, too, to scoop that up and in. That was difficult.
Pass inside, and Parker finishes with a dunk. He has 8. UCLA back by a dozen.
Cannot let your foot off the gas.
3, Calhoun. Not there. Alford goes in and gets the rebound. And here comes Hamilton, who's had a terrific game, 21 points. Some big early shots to establish the tempo for UCLA.
Seconds on the shot clock. No foul here for UAB.
at 3. Shot on the way. No good. Nice defense by the Blazers. UAB is making their run, keeping it interesting. UCLA still on top.
Your hands in the air, jump up and down and scream now! Janice Harris, turn off the radio. Janice Harris, turn off the light. Oh, Janice Harris, turn off the video. Throw your hands in the air and sing it loud. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. When the world is coming down on me, a little band called Cowboy Now.
Ready for this? Yeah.
Focus on the job, and we'll all end up making a lot of money together.
Mistakes get made, don't they?
Staff medical information is confidential.
You got something in my mind, and I want it back.
Pioneer, rated R.
We're back Paradise Island, Nassau, the Bahamas. There in the towers of Atlanta, senior producer Mike Ricci, producer David Butler, and associate producer Jamie McClintock all stay. They deserve those nice rooms as we come down and take a look here at the harbor and the yachts, some magnificent ships that come in. Kenny Rice, Seth Davis, Tom Walsh, our executive producer, Daryl Ewald. Great to spend another Thanksgiving week with him, and our director, Jason Vaughn. And the man that keeps it all together, coordinating all the flights, getting everybody to and from airports and in and out, is Chris Markwell. So this is our family each week of Thanksgiving week. And we want to give special recognition to all those guys that make it possible. Heartfelt appreciation.
Well said, Kenny. Well said.
5 players in double figures for UCLA tonight. UAB making a run. There's a foul shot, won't go. Tyler Madison will go to the free throw line. I tell you, UCLA, they know that the UAB is staying around. The Blazers from Conference USA keeping a worried look on the face of Steve Alford, who is closing in on 500 career wins. He is one of only 12 coaches to take 4 different teams to NCAA tournaments. Did it with Missouri State, Iowa, New Mexico, and UCLA. And even going back further, Manchester College, he led them to the national runner-up in Division III before that. So just about as soon as he took his sneakers off at Indiana, he went into coaching and has had a terrific career.
Well, he always knew that he would go into coaching. Of course, his father, Sam, is great coach in Indiana, coached him in Newcastle. And UCLA's cooled off a little bit at the foul line as part of what happened, and some silly turnovers. Just losing focus, losing concentration, which is, I suppose, to be expected from an inexperienced team. They've played well tonight. They've given their coach something to criticize him about here these last few minutes. And all credit to UAB for fighting until the end. I know Jared has to be very happy about that.
Coming around is Hamilton. UCLA turnover.
Can't catch the ball with one hand, Norman.
Steve Alford, that's exactly what he did. He raised both hands. 2 hands.
2 hands.
Back to basics.
UAB's got to get down and get a shot off pretty quickly here now with only 1:40.
Well, Coach Haas said he wanted to see his team play with some fight here in this second half, and he is seeing that. As he saw last night, game effort against Florida. Calhoun takes it all the way in.
Too much time to get this shot off with this deficit.
Norton, 3, not there. Tip won't go. And Looney clears it out for UCLA.
Great effort by Washington, though. Really crashed the boards.
8 rebounds tonight for Looney. Alford is fouled with a minute to go by Norton. We'd like to add a special thanks to George Marcantonis and the great staff here at the Atlantis Resort. They treat us well with open arms each year. We appreciate all their support and thank them for staging this great tournament. Now, everybody's going to claim, well, what a great tournament we have when you watch other broadcasts. But I would dare say there's not a deeper field, and especially keep an eye on March and how many come out of this tournament that will make it to the NCAA tournament.
Well, it's not, I'm not above shilling, by the way, don't get me wrong, but it is not shilling to say.
No.
Because it's widely recognized in general consensus that this is the best field of all of the early season tournaments, and I think next year will be the same.
Looney grabs his 9th rebound.
And it's happened in short order. Of course, Maui's always a great tournament. It used to be the Great Alaska Shootout, which has now really lost its relevance, unfortunately. A lot of great basketball being played all over the country, and Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center, St. Louis, Kansas City. It's a great time of year for college basketball.
And the clock is winding down on this 2014 edition of Atlantis. Powell takes it in and just beats the shot clock. At the other end, UAB's Tyler Madison scores, and he's fouled with 7 seconds to go. Welsh commits the foul.
Well, Madison really has acquitted himself quite well here in this second half in particular. Has played hard.
8 points, 5 rebounds. UAB keeps the press on. Hamilton, a great night. Led him with 21 points, and that is it. That wraps up the game, and that wraps up the battle for Atlantis. It was a terrific night of basketball, starting with North Carolina